So my mate Wayne fell on an adventure bike ride the other day and broke his shoulder, and he's been off to hospital and had a fairly major operation to reconstruct his shoulder. It got me reflecting on how prepared I am and the people I ride with are for things like this, or worse. I've got some experience ending up in situations like this. On a whitewater kayaking trip, I dislocated my shoulder and had to be airlifted out of a wilderness area. So I understand how Wayne was feeling out there, and yeah, it's not pleasant. With whitewater kayaking, we used to also always have safety briefings before a talk. We'd stand on the side of the river and we'd talk about who was leading, who was at the back, our signals on the river, what emergency equipment we have. It doesn't really seem to happen with adventure riding, and maybe that's okay, but maybe it'd be a good idea, I don't know. I just want to know that the people I'm with can help me out in emergency, or that I want to know that there's no pressure on me to go faster than I feel comfortable going. And I think that's a real thing that a lot of us will have experienced, being out on the trail, being the slowest or being a slower rider and feeling like we have to go fairly quick to keep up with the rest of the group. I don't have any actual crash footage on the video, but I have the aftermath from when I noticed that Wayne wasn't behind me, went back and found him on the trail. Feel free to comment on how you reckon I handled the situation up to the point I had to turn the video off. So how prepared were we? We both had emergency beacons. Wayne had a PLB and I had a Garmin InReach Mini, but they were both mounted on the handlebars, and in future for me it's going to be mounted to a strap on my backpack. Wayne was separated from his bike when I got back to him, and if he had to crawl over, if he'd been on his own, I often ride on my own. If he'd been on his own and he'd had to crawl over to his bike, it would have just been misery for him. I didn't actually have to use my Garmin because my phone worked, even though I was out of reception. So my carrier had no reception, but my carrier piggybacks off another carrier that does have reception, if there is one, and allows you to make a phone call to emergency services. If there's no reception for anyone, then you've got to use the InReach or the PLB. Way easier using the phone. I was able to have a conversation with the operator and talk through the situation with them. I've actually got an iPhone 14 since the incident, not because of it, but since it, and it actually is getting an update in November that allows people in the USA and Canada to text emergency services using satellite, even if they have absolutely no phone reception. Doesn't work here in Australia, or it won't work here in Australia, but it's surely got to be on its way in the future. We had first aid kits. You can see him here in this clip mine, and know how to use them. And had Nurofen for him as a painkiller, but emergency services said don't give it to him. The only other factor, and perhaps the most crucial factor, is that Wayne was riding on fairly dead tyres. They were right at the end of their life, and it was slippery and muddy, and I'm sure that didn't help, and it could well have been the cause of his accident. So there you go. That's our prep. That's how prepared we were. Feel free to comment, positive, negative. And here's the video.
Fox. Holy shit. You've lost your mum, have you? Whoa! Got a bit mad at me. Yango National Park. This is a bit of a mess. Everywhere Wayne goes, I'll take a different line. Almost into the bushes.
Target fixation.
Your bike,
Straight in the fucking hole.
your bike's facing the wrong direction.
No. I've been pulling it.
All right.
Came in like that. It was going like that. But I've been trying to get it around.
So what happened? You came through.
I went, don't hit the hole, don't hit the hole, don't hit the hole. Oh fuck, I hit the hole.
that groove there.
And it launched me in the air.
Wayne's just told me again that he wants to go slow, and it makes me so happy. Just love going slow. He's got the original tyres on his bike, the Karoos, which I think are fine. Everyone seems to hate them, but I reckon they're fine. But they're right at the end of their life, and they're apparently slipping all over the place in the mud, which is why he wants to go slow. So I want him to keep these tyres, so he always wants to go slow. That was sketchy for me too. It's a wet log there. Better go back and have a look for Wayne. Didn't think there was anything in that section. Oh, this doesn't look good. Fuck. You alright?
I think I might have dislocated my arm.
Just hold still. Don't start fucking. Have you done it before?
No. Fucking clay, the front wheel just went.
Yeah.
Try to pull this on and see what happens.
Hey?
Pull my arm.
Well, just hang on a second, because if you dislocated your shoulder,
Yeah.
you would fucking be like in all sorts. Like, I'm not quite sure how much pain you're in, but I've dislocated my shoulder and it's terrible. And it's not something that you should do, kind of just try and pop it back in.
Yeah.
Right? You need someone who knows what they're doing. Can you sit up?
Help me up, please. Can you take my helmet off?
There's a chin strap up there. Okay, can we take this off?
It's got Velcro, just fucking unstrap it. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Fuck.
Yeah, you may have dislocated it if you're in this much pain. All right, so you think it's dislocated? Did you feel it's popped out?
Yeah, I felt like I heard this.
Right.
I don't know if it's still dislocated, but it's fuck, I can't move it.
When you dislocate your shoulder, if it pops in, the pain goes away. All right? It's very fucking unpleasant. That's my experience anyway. Wayne, mate, we're probably going to have to call emergency services.
Yeah. Fuck. Do you mind bringing my backpack for my head?
Yep.
And something for my arm, maybe your other backpack. I can't keep holding it like this. I don't know how to fucking put it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And you kind of got to find a spot where it's as comfortable as it can be, you know, which is not easy. At this point, we were really fortunate that some other motorbikes turned up, and the first four-wheel drive we'd seen all day turned up, and it was able to take Wayne out to the main road, which really saved him hours of suffering, because emergency services were telling me that getting a four-wheel drive ambulance out to him was going to take a long time. So that was Wayne's great fortune for the afternoon. It then was left for me to hide Wayne's bike in the bushes and come back the next day and pick it up. Okay, so Wayne's bike's down there in the bush. Unfortunately, the KTM Orange is kind of, well, I can see it from here. It's really unlikely a car would drive past and spot it. So go and cover it up a bit more.